Good evening. Back on August 8th, the world of sports and college football lost one of the greatest coaches in the history of the sport. On August 8th, we lost Robert Kleckler Bowden, better known as Bobby Bowden, the longtime head coach of Florida State University. He passed away on Sunday, August 8th, at the age of 91, surrounded by his family, by his wife of 70 plus years, and his 6 children. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports. I am your host, Anthony Florio, and I am joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. As you all know, we did not have a show last week because MF and Bullock had special plans, and we're going to get into that a little bit later on in the show. But for right now, we have to start the show on a very somber and sad note. You see the gentleman in the graphic right there. That says it all right there. And I'm going to drop it for just a moment, and I am going to get into his story here. Bobby Bowden, a longtime Florida State football coach who ranks second all-time in Division I wins, passed away. He was 91. Bobby Bowden's son, Terry, said in a statement, "My father passed away peacefully early this morning with all 6 of his children and my mother here by his side. I couldn't have asked for a better personal mentor than my father. He was a wonderful husband and father who relied on his strong Christian faith to provide the foundation for his life. I also was fortunate to be raised by a football coach who had a reputation for coaching the right way his entire career. He was admired by everyone who played for him or coached against him." Bobby Bowden was diagnosed with a terminal medical condition in July. He did not disclose what the condition was at the time, although Terry later told reporters that it was pancreatic cancer. Bobby said in a statement, "I've always tried to serve God's purpose for my life on and off the field, and I am prepared for what is to come. My wife Ann and our family have been life's greatest blessing. I am at peace." Bowden also dealt with what he called a tough bout of COVID-19 in 2020, which came a few days after returning to his Tallahassee home from a lengthy hospital stay for an infection in his leg. Robert Kleckler Bowden, better known as Bobby, was born in Birmingham, Alabama in 1929. He was a sickly child diagnosed with rheumatic fever and spending a great deal of his youth in bed. It was then, listening to radio broadcasts, that Bowden developed a love of football. He listened to Alabama games on the radio, and while football didn't cure Bowden, it certainly led to his life's calling. With his health in check, Bowden played football at Woodlawn High School with dreams of going on to suit up for the Crimson Tide. And that he did, at quarterback no less. But love eventually took precedence. Alabama's policy at the time was that freshmen couldn't get married, but Bowden really wanted to marry his high school sweetheart, Ann Estock. So he did, and he walked away from his Tide career as a result. Went on to play quarterback for Howard College, now Sanford University, also played baseball and ran track. After graduating, Bowden got his first coaching gig as an assistant at Howard. He parlayed that into another job, athletic director and head coach at 2 years South Georgia College, which later led him back to Howard as head coach in 1959, where he would coach until 1962. His coaching prowess grew in that span, as did his wanderlust to coach larger schools. His university division, now called the FBS, the Football Bowl Subdivision, start was actually with the Seminoles as a wide receivers coach from 63 to 65, then went to West Virginia as offensive coordinator from 66 to 69, and then named head coach in 1970 and had a 42-26 record with the Mountaineers. The tragic Marshall plane crash in 1970 affected Bowden heavily in his first year as head coach. He petitioned the NCAA to wear Marshall jerseys and play their final game for them, but the NCAA said no. Instead, the players added green crosses and MU to their helmets. He said later that, hold on one second. All right. All right. He said later that Marshall wanted him to be its next head coach, but in 1976, Bowden went to Florida State, mostly because it was warmer in Tallahassee and closer to his mother. His first year as head coach of the Noles wasn't his best. They went 5-6, but it was his only losing record in his 34 seasons there. In 1977, the Seminoles got their first bowl invitation under Bowden, which would lead to 28 consecutive bowl appearances and 2 national championships in 1993 and 1999. For 14 straight seasons, ending in 2000, the Seminoles won at least 10 games and finished ranked in the top 5 of the AP poll. His status as a Florida State legend and as a legend in college football as a whole was established in that span. He and the late Penn State coach Joe Paterno were neck and neck at numbers 1 and 2 on the winningest coaches list. In 2009, Bowden announced his retirement. The last years of his coaching career were not stellar. Nothing lasts forever, does it? But I've had some wonderful years here at Florida State, you know it, Bowden said when he announced his retirement. Hadn't done as good lately as I wish I could have, but I've had wonderful years, no regrets. And a lot of statements and a lot of people paid their respects to him. Deion Sanders, God bless the Bowden family, friends and loved ones. My prayers are with you. I've lost one of the best coaches I've ever had. Urban Meyer, today we lost a legend. Bobby was a great friend and mentor to me, and his impact transcended the coaching profession in so many ways. Sending love to Ann and the entire Bowden family. Rest in peace, Coach Bowden. The most notable. Bowden finished his career with a win at the 2009 Gator Bowl. A few weeks later, the NCAA stripped Florida State of 12 wins from 2006 and 2007, when FSU was found to have committed athletic fraud. He's recognized as having 357 career wins, trailing only Joe Paterno's 409. Bowden and his wife had 6 children, including 2 who became college football coaches, former Clemson coach Tommy Bowden and former Auburn coach Terry. A devout Christian, Bobby Bowden has a Fellowship of Christian Athletes Award named after him. He is also the namesake of the Bobby Bowden National Collegiate Coach of the Year award as part of a football club in Birmingham. The first award of its type went to Nick Saban, with Bowden presenting the award himself. Bowden was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2006. A devastating loss for the world of college football and the world of sports. I mean, one of the all-time greats. You could definitely make an argument that he deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore of college football coaches. I mean, with all the history he made at Florida State. I mean, especially those teams in the 90s and into the 2000s. I mean, those teams were fun to watch. And those legendary battles with the University of Miami. And he had a lot of big wins, but he also had some demoralizing losses. And one of those, maybe the most demoralizing loss, one of the greatest college football games ever played, was when Florida State lost to Notre Dame at Notre Dame Stadium in November of '93. And, you know, one of the most iconic and greatest games in the history of college football. But nonetheless, I mean, the impact that he had on the game and everything else. And, you know, if it wasn't for this man, there would be no Florida State football. Florida State football. You think we'd be talking about Florida State football? Do you think we would know what Florida State football was? No, not without this man. We don't. He's the one who he was the heart and soul of it. And he paved the way for Jimbo Fisher and current coach Mike Norvell. And I can only imagine how emotional it's going to be on Labor Day weekend, 2 weeks from Sunday, on Sunday night, September the 5th, when the Florida State Seminoles open their college football season at home at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, when they have to welcome my Notre Dame Fighting Irish, number 9 in the preseason poll. And I mean, you can only imagine how emotional that's going to be. I'm sure there's going to be an emotional ceremony, I'm sure, beforehand. And He may be gone, but he's certainly never going to be forgotten. And throughout every Florida State football game from now on going forward, his presence will always be there, whether they're at home or on the road. Coach Bowden will always be with Florida State going forward. So, as I always like to say, whenever we have a passing, to Bobby Bowden, Coach, thank you for the memories, thank you for the inspiration, and thank you for Bobby Bowden. And from one devout Christian to another, God bless you, brother. God bless you, sir. Rest in peace and Godspeed. Thoughts and prayers to his wife of over 70 years, Anne, and his 6 children. He had 8 grandchildren as well. And not just to the family, but also to his friends and all the players that he coached and all of his coaching staffers. And, may be gone, but he'll never be forgotten. There'll never be another one like him. So there isn't much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Bobby Bowden. Dead. He passed away at the age of 91. One day before my birthday.
Yeah, there's really nothing more to add here. You're talking about one of the greatest coaches that ever coached the game. Like you said, if there's ever a time or something that you would think of Mount Rushmore, there's Bear Bryant. You could talk about Joe Paterno. And yeah, I mean, there's always been some controversy about Paterno, no doubt about it. But when you talk about Bobby Bowden, you're talking about, Florida State, FSU, the wars, not only with Notre Dame, but the wars against Miami, the U, and that battle, those wars, those fights that you see year in and year out. Look, he is without a doubt one of the greatest coaches I've ever seen. Growing up in college football, growing up in around that time, you knew about Florida State. You knew how dangerous they were, how great they were. Anthony, you talked about some of the greatest games. You talked about the game against Notre Dame when it was number 1 versus number 2 at Notre Dame Stadium. Then there was that battle between Miami and Florida State. And it didn't matter if it was in the Orange Bowl in Miami or if it was at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. Those battles were wars. And, legendary for what it's worth. He was one of the first champions of the BCS when they won it in 1999. Actually, I believe they were the first ever BCS game, national championship game to be determined at that time. So, I mean, yeah. And what he brought to Florida State was he brought relevancy. He made them a national powerhouse. They might not be as powerful or as devastating or as amazing as they were years ago, but back then they were unbelievable. And without a doubt, you can consider them one of the best. Really nothing more to add. They were truly, truly, truly one of a kind. And yeah, my thoughts and prayers are with his family right now. And as a matter of fact, they just had a few days ago. They had the memorial service for inside of the FSU arena, the stadium the arena where they do for the college basketball games. It was very emotional. It was very powerful, and just the love that he got. Yes, it wasn't a full capacity because of COVID restrictions and everything else that's been going on. But if they were able to do it at that stadium, there would not have been a seat in the building. It would have been a sellout crowd. You can say whatever you want to say. he is without a doubt a legend and one of the greatest. So my thoughts and prayers are with the family, and Bobby, we're gonna miss you, man. College football, when you retired was a sad day. College football has never been the same without you, man. And now we're really gonna miss you wholeheartedly. So rest easy, my friend. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, it is a sad day for the world of college football when you lose a great coach like Bobby Bowden. And who knows where this Florida State franchise would have been if it weren't for Bobby Bowden. He made that team relevant. He led them to numerous national championship games, national championships, and some pretty good players that's been around him throughout the years. And yeah, to me, I gotta consider him the greatest coach in the history of college football. I mean, just look at what he's been. I mean, everything that he's and I mean, he's probably the winningest coach in the history of college football. And yeah, I mean, like you said, Fletch, college football was never the same once he left the game. And I don't know if it will ever be the same now that he's passed away. And I can only imagine what that first home game is going to be like for Florida State. And there's not going to be a dry eye in that stadium for that first home game. So rest easy, Bobby Bowden. You are without a doubt one of the greatest coaches in the history of college football. Floor, it's yours.
All right. Never easy to move on, but that's exactly what we have to do. But we're going to be moving on in a very positive light, and that is the events of a Major League Baseball game that went down just one short week ago. While MF and Bullock were at Gillette Stadium during the preseason game, I was here at home. I mean, I would have joined you guys, but the only reason is I had work commitments beyond my control, so I couldn't. If it was a Friday or a Saturday night, then I definitely would have. But anyways, and I'm kind of glad I did because I got to be here. I mean, in addition to Impact Wrestling, of course, I tuned in to the Field of Dreams game, and that's what we're going to get into now. The Field of Dreams game, my New York Yankees against the Chicago White Sox. The game was so-so through the first 8 innings, but then the 9th inning took this game from about 2 stars or so all the way to a 5-star classic chock full of the absolute finest Shakespearean drama you will ever see. And oh my word. Where do I start on this? Kevin Costner, as you know, Kevin Costner, the star of the Field of Dreams movie, one of the greatest movies of all time. And I mean, the groundwork was laid out August of 2019. Construction began on a Major League Baseball regulation field and stadium with a maximum capacity of 8,000 to host the first ever regular season Major League Baseball game in Iowa. These same 2 teams were supposed to have it a year ago, but unfortunately, COVID put the kibosh on it, and they pushed it back to 1 year later. And the White Sox were the home team in this game because of their role in the 1989 Field of Dreams movie, in which the ghosts of Shoeless Joe Jackson and other members of the 1919 Black Sox play on the diamond in the Iowa cornfield. But it went into the 9th inning, and the White Sox it looked like they were going to they were going to win. And my goodness, just bear with me as I get the information here. And Yanks tied the game. Yeah, it was 7-4. And then the Yanks score 4 runs in the 9th inning to take an 8-7 lead. Giancarlo Stanton with a 2-run shot, and Aaron Judge had 2 home runs in the game. And the White Sox would win it on a walk-off 2-run home run by Tim Anderson, and that was the end of that. And Aaron Judge was the star for the Yankees, 2 for 4, 5 RBI. Giancarlo Stanton had 2 RBI, and Brett Gardner had the other. For the White Sox, of course, the hero of the night was Tim Anderson, 2 for 5 with 3 RBI, 2 runs scored. Jimenez had 3 RBI of his own. Zavala had 2 RBI, and Jose Abreu had an RBI. And winning pitcher was Liam Hendricks. Zach Britton suffered the loss. And just an incredible game. And MF and I had the honor of calling it as part of our Major League Baseball coverage, and what a thrill it was for us to be there for it. And I mean, we usually remember postseason games more, but this is one of those rare times where we can say we'll never forget this regular season game. But my gosh, while all right. Got it right here. I was just looking for the scores. I mean, not the scores. The additional information that I wanted to address beforehand, and that is, here we go. The time of the game, I believe I have it here. Time of the game, about 3.5 hours, 7,832 fans. And wow, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, you are the Joe Buck to my John Smoltz, or we always like to say you're the Joe Buck to my Tim McCarver. And we had this game. I mean, you had some screaming Michael Fletcher moments at the Olympics. You didn't have too many during the Olympics, but you came back from Tokyo, and oh boy, it's like screaming Michael Fletcher never left. I mean, how you wonder why I call this man screaming Michael Fletcher. Watch that 9th inning, and you'll know why.
Yeah, and actually, to even to go even more further than that, I actually hearkened a little bit of John Sterling and the Hawk from the, especially at the game-winning home run. If you remember, I said it, a fly ball in the right field, back at the track, at the wall. You can put it on the board. Yes. Goodbye. Home run. Game over. The White Sox have won the dreams. And yeah, you can say it. So I try to incorporate a little bit for the New York Yankee fans and for the White Sox fans, but it was a great what a game. You know what? I gotta say it. Just like the NHL with the Winter Classic, and there's always the Stadium Series games, and then there's always the Winter Classic. And those 2 games has really propelled the NHL to something really, really, really special. I think the Field of the Dreams game and the event that's coming up this Sunday with the Little League, with incorporation of the Little League baseball with the Indians and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, those two events could now become premier events for Major League Baseball that could actually end up being something great for the game. And I got to give credit to Rob Manfred, because Manfred, first time around when we heard this, we're like, I don't know. This seems interesting. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know how it's going to feel. By all the indications, and you are absolutely right, Anthony, I was not there to watch the game. I saw the highlights on ESPN when I got home, and oh my God, is all I can say. I think Michael Bullock and I can both agree we were definitely in awe of that game, and just the feedback that I was getting from my friends, not just Florio and not just Derek Ferreira, but just from other people watching that game and literally calling it the game of the year. That's a great thing to have. Then on top of that, to know that for Fox, you end up getting 6 million people to watch this game is actually one of the highest rated regular season games that they've had. I think ever since the day of when ESPN had the Cal Ripken. No, when Mark McGwire broke the all-time record. When Mark McGwire broke the all-time record, the 62, the night game against the Cubs, when he broke the 62 record of Roger Maris. That was Fox's best rated regular season game. This one came dangerously close to that record with 5.9 million, almost 6 million people watching the Field of Dreams game. It was one of the highest rated regular season games for Fox in a very long time. You know you've done something right. And for everything that went down, the credibility for Fox, and not only that, but for the way that the game went down, the excitement level, and everything else. And they've already announced it, that next year it will be, I believe it's the Cincinnati Reds and the Chicago Cubs, and the Cubs will be designated home next year for this game. So you want to talk about what could end up being one of those games that a lot of teams are going to start to say, hey, we want in, we want to play this game, because that's the same thing like with the Winter Classic in the NHL. Every team is falling over themselves now to be the ones to be representing the National Hockey League in that game. Every team is probably going to want to be a part of this game now because of how amazing this game was and what type of an impact this had. And you absolutely are right, Anthony. Early in the night, it looked like Chicago was going to wipe the Yankees right out. And then New York came back later in the game, got it to 2, got the lead. And I know all the fans are like, oh my God, the Yankee mystique. Are you kidding me? But then the White Sox did not give up. They did not turn away. They slammed the door, won the game on a walk-off. The sight was amazing. Watching that ball go into the night, into that cornfield, and landing there. The whole night was absolutely magical. And there hasn't been those many magical moments in Major League Baseball. There's been a lot of negatives, coming out of the game lately. And we've been very vocal and very opinionated on what Rob Manfred has done as a commissioner. I got to say it. This was a bold move by him a year ago by making this announcement of a Field of Dreams game. I think it was one of those where we will believe it when we saw it. We just saw the game. You made believers out of us. Now this is going to be, from now on, just like the Little League baseball game that's been happening for the last couple of years with Major League Baseball in junction with the Little League baseball community. And now here we go again. When, like I said, this Sunday night, a special Sunday night baseball with the Indians and with the LA Angels of Anaheim. And this is going to be a very special game and a very special event. You can't go any better than this. And what they have done is absolutely remarkable. Rob Manfred and the guys of Major League Baseball should be commended for the job that they did. Fox, being the television provider for the game, did a great job with the graphics, with the layout and the presentation of the game. This was without a doubt one of those entertaining and enjoyable baseball games we have seen in a very long time. And like I said, it now will become a staple for us for years to come. To say that this was the first game, now we got it next year, already confirmed for next year. Like I said, this could be what the NHL has with the Winter Classic. This could become a marquee event. Bigger than the All-Star game. Nowhere close to the World Series. I'm not going to say that. But if you want marquee games for the regular season next year, this would be one of the games that you would circle, and the game in the Little League in Williamsport. Those are the two marquee baseball games that they do each year, regular season-wise, just like with the NHL, where you got the Winter Classic, you got the Heritage game, which is more for the fans in Canada, and then obviously the Stadium Series games when you go outside in those either college stadiums or in baseball or NFL stadiums. Those games have become a staple for the NHL and gets us all geared up when we see those games year in and year out. Of course, with the NFL, it's when they go outside of the United States, when they go to London or they go to Mexico or Canada. In the case of the Buffalo Bills, the NBA they got some games, but I don't really remember them doing anything. Well, no, the game in Mexico City, that was always a marquee game for them. But it just expands and opens the horizon of Major League Baseball. A lot of the times, baseball has been ignored for the last few years because of the success of the NFL, the success of the NBA. And even the NHL has been rising. It's been getting better the last few years. And they're really starting to get their foot on. They're starting to get their footing. So baseball has really become the fourth sport. But a game like this, with all of the media, with all of social media talking about that game, maybe and just maybe this could be the opening that baseball needs that can get them right back up to basically become one of the biggest sports in the world again. Because remember, this is our national pastime. This was, back in the day, the number one sport in America. Bigger than the NBA, bigger than the NFL, bigger than the NHL. It's lost its identity for a number of years. Maybe, just maybe, this could be the start of something really special for Major League Baseball. Michael Bullock, I give it to you, my brother.
Yeah, what a game this was. I mean, like you said, we didn't know what to make of this when we first heard of it, but yeah, I mean, we got it this year. Obviously, couldn't have it last year because of the pandemic, and yeah, I mean, we were wondering how this was going to be, and it really hit a home run here. I like how they had Kevin Costner come out with the teams, obviously because of that movie of Dreams, which you definitely got to go out of your way to watch it. And just seeing the cornfields out there, for those that were in attendance, I can only imagine what was going through their minds. And you had even some of the guys at Fox were really dressed up for the occasion. And yeah, Rob Manfred definitely should be commended for coming up with this. And I think this is definitely what I think could save the game of baseball, because it has been in decline. So, but nobody's been a more harsher critic than Derek Ferrera. But then again, he's been a harsher critic of anything. So, and part of me would not be surprised if he still thinks, because he's going on the record of saying that he thinks there will be a strike. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. I really hope not, because that would really hurt the game, especially after everything we saw with this game. So Rob Manfred definitely should be commended for this. What a game we saw. So nothing else to say except, Florio, it's yours. I know your team lost in heartbreaking fashion, but as a fan, you probably had to enjoy this game, as I give it to you.
That's exactly right. Exactly right, Michael Vogt. You're right. Would I have liked the outcome to have been different? Absolutely. But I'm not even mad anymore. Have you seen what my Yanks have been doing lately? Ever since that game? I don't think they've lost a game since that game.
No, and as a matter of fact, man, they went from being on the outside looking in on the wild card to now they are the team that I don't think nobody wants to see right now.
Nope.
Nobody wants to play the New York Yankees right now. They flipped the switch. The trades are starting to benefit, and oh yeah, the Yankees they're a problema now. American League, watch the hell out. The Yankees are back.
And MF, I think I could say the same thing about your Atlanta Braves. What's going on with your team? Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you, New York Mets, for coming down and slipping and falling like you have, and then they just had some good breaks. I think it's kind of because of the fact of who we've been playing lately. I just don't want to say that it's a lot of things. We had a couple of teams that we had the Washington Nationals, who basically has thrown in the towel. Then we played the Miami Marlins. We swept them. But the thing is that, what happened to the Mets has been the Mets have ran into the Phillies. The Phillies have been hot lately, but now the Phillies have cooled off. So, I'm happy about it. I'm satisfied with what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
Now Atlanta's turned the switch. Our trades have benefited. Soler's looking great. Adam Duvall looks like Duvall from a couple of years ago for the Braves, which is great. Jock Peterson's done really well for us. Even our pitching with Richard Rodriguez. I got a little nervous last night, though. I'm gonna openly admit it. We had a really dominating performance, but then the next thing we know, um, we had ourselves some trouble because of the fact that we just couldn't get anything going. But at the end of the day, yeah, it was a it was a great performance. So uh, really nothing more to add. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with what Elena's doing, and we got to play the. We still got a 3 game set coming up against the Baltimore Orioles this weekend. So hopefully we
Yes.
can keep the momentum going and work our way to our third consecutive division title. Yeah, I'm loving what we've been doing in Atlanta lately. But
Unbelievable.
we still got another month to go, so I'd rather not start celebrating or getting ahead of myself.
Exactly right.
So
Exactly
I
right.
like I said, I know the Mets and the Phillies are there, even though they're like maybe 4.5 and 5 out respectively right now. It's
Yes.
not over yet.
No,
So
it's not.
I'm not jumping. I'm not gonna say book it. It's over. We got this.
No.
Not yet. Not
No.
yet. Once I
Yeah.
start seeing that magic number thing pop up and I can start counting it down, then I'll start to think that we got this. But as of right now,
Yep.
I can't
Same
start
here.
doing it yet.
Yeah. Same here. So, but yeah, I mean, Yanks have caught fire. Braves have caught fire. Bullets, Red Sox, not so much. But it is what it is. And but man, but all kidding aside, I mean, what a fantastic game. I mean, that's going to go down as one of the greatest regular season games of all time. And next year, the Reds and the Cubs, that should be fun. It'll be at the same time next year. So that second Thursday in August next year. So can't wait to see that spectacle again. And congratulations to everyone involved. You did a great job. And it's just something we'll never forget for as long as we live. And I hated the outcome, but I loved the game. That's all there is to say on that. So, but congratulations to the White Sox. They deserved that win. They earned that win. But at least it hasn't slowed the Yanks down, because ever since that game, the Yanks haven't lost a game since. And I'm very happy. Derek Ferreira, you better believe he's happy about it. It's not often I say that, but it's true. So, but anyways, let's get into our next story here. We have now I got to correct myself on this. I honestly thought they released the full NBA schedule, but they did not. They're going to be releasing the full NBA schedule tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. But however, they did reveal the Kia NBA tip-off and Christmas Day schedules. That they did. And some notes for this. The 2021-22 regular season will start on Tuesday, October 19th, and will end on Friday, April 10th. Sunday, April 10th, 2022. 2022 NBA All-Star Game will take place on Sunday, February 20th from Cleveland. TNT will televise the All-Star Game for the 20th straight year. And I'm also pleased to announce that the play-in tournament is going to be coming back as well. And that will be held from April 12th through the 15th, followed by the start of the the 2022 NBA playoffs on Saturday, April 16th. So, with that being said, here are the notable games. This is for tip-off week. It's going to tip off with a doubleheader on Tuesday, October 19th, and it's only fitting the first game out. It will be the new NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks, as they will open defense of their championship at Fiserv Forum, and they are going to be opening it up in grand style. They're going to be squaring off against the Brooklyn Nets, the team they beat in the second round of the playoffs. That will be at 7:30, and then at 10 p.m., it will be the Golden State Warriors squaring off against the Los Angeles Lakers. Wednesday, October 20th, another doubleheader. This will be on ESPN. Michael Bullock's team, the Boston Celtics, they're going to be headed to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, to take on the New York Knicks, 7:30. And at 10 p.m. on ESPN, the Western Conference champions, the Phoenix Suns, will open defense of their Western Conference title at home at the newly named Footprint Center, and they'll be hosting the Denver Nuggets. Doubleheader on Thursday, October 21st, 7:30 on TNT. The Dallas Mavericks will be squaring off against the Atlanta Hawks. 10 p.m. on TNT. Second half of the doubleheader, the Los Angeles Clippers squaring off against the Golden State Warriors. And then Friday, October 22nd, another doubleheader on ESPN. You will see at 7:30 the Brooklyn Nets against the Philadelphia 76ers. And then the 10 o'clock game, the Phoenix Suns will square off against the Los Angeles Lakers. And gentlemen, I can now announce the 5 games that will take place on Christmas Day. Christmas Day, December 25th, of course. And the games are as follows. It'll start at high noon on ESPN. The Atlanta Hawks will take on the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. 2:30 on ABC. Bullock Celtics, the Boston Celtics, will be, Bullock, I don't envy you because you got to go to Milwaukee and take on the defending champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, at Fiserv Forum. 2:30 on ABC. 5 p.m. on ABC, the Golden State Warriors will take on the Phoenix Suns. The game of the day / night, it will be the primetime game, 8 o'clock that'll be simulcast on ABC and ESPN. Maybe a finals preview, you don't know. The Brooklyn Nets against the Los Angeles Lakers at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. And then we round it out at 10:30 on ESPN with the Dallas Mavericks squaring off against the Utah Jazz. So with all that being said, Michael Bullock, you heard all the games I just dropped and all the notable dates. What are your early thoughts about it? I mean, your Celtics are playing on Christmas against the champions. Ooh, I think that's more of a lump of coal than a present.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, Florio, but I think this once again the Celtics playing on Christmas Day because remember they played on Christmas Day this past season against the Lakers. So I don't know if there's a consecutive streak with the Celtics playing on Christmas Day, but yeah, I mean, I think Celtics fans need to get used to the team playing on Christmas. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the Bucks and the Nets kicking off the season. That's definitely going to be a fun one, and could be maybe a possible Eastern Conference Finals preview. I know it's crazy for me to say it when it's the first game of the season, but yeah, that definitely is going to be a fun one. And of course, the Celtics against the Knicks, that's going to be something, especially now with Kemba Walker going to the Knicks. So yeah, and yeah, obviously with a Nets Lakers game on Christmas Day. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be a good one with all that star power featured in this game. So all these games look really good, but yeah, I think the Christmas Day ones look real intriguing, and who knows, maybe the Celtics could give the Bucks a little bit of a. I mean, I'm not trying to say the Celtics are going to pull it off, but I think they could hang in with them. So, yeah, that's my take on some of the games. But I don't know about you, Florio, as I give it to you. I think Christmas Day looks more intriguing to me.
Of course. I mean, we all know the track record the NBA has when it comes to Christmas games. Absolutely. And I know that Celtics Bucks game is the one that Bullock's going to have the most vested interest in, of course. But the big one, like I said, the Nets against the Lakers at the Staples Center in prime time on Christmas night. Oh my goodness, that is going to be. Oh boy, that is going to be something else. That's all I can say there. And that opening game, obviously, the Nets taking on the Bucks, rematch of that incredible second round series. That was far and away the best series of these past playoffs. And wow, what can I say? I mean, you know what that means? It's going to mean we're going to be seeing a banner raising ceremony. We're going to see the 2020-2021 NBA championship banner with the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going to be raising that into the rafters of the Fiserv Forum, and that's going to be a sight to see. And especially for those older fans, especially for those fans who were alive when they won their only other title 50 years ago. I mean, that's going to be even more special for them. So, and definitely for these young kids who are going to be experiencing that special ceremony. I mean, no better way to start a season than with a banner raising ceremony. And we'll be seeing that with the Lightning in the Stanley Cup when the hockey season starts a little before that. But yeah, some great matchups to say the very least. And of course, I'm looking forward to the All-Star game, of course. Going to be in Cleveland. Last time that happened, I believe it was in 1997, I believe it was. And
oddly enough, and this is actually very crazy, kid.
What?
Think about this. You talk about 1997 being the last time. Do you remember that when the All-Star game was in Cleveland, it was the 50th anniversary of the NBA? And now this year we're celebrating 75 years of the game.
Unbelievable.
And it's going back to Cleveland, the All-Star game.
Same arena.
Same arena. Well, no.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
It was under a different name, of course.
It was under a different name, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Gund Arena in '97. Now I believe it's the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, I think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's where it's going to be, and the play-in tournament's coming back. I mean, I know the play-in tournament was a big hit, so they're going to be bringing that back, April 12th through the 15th, and the playoffs will start in the traditional. And if all goes well, the playoffs we should be back to the traditional playoffs from April to June.
Yeah.
Not August to September or May to July. April to June. That's how we best remember it. And we're finally going to have a normal NBA season for the first time since the 2018-2019 season. The last two seasons have been COVID impacted, but somehow they got it done. The first time around, they had to do it in that bubble at the Wide World of Sports Complex at Disney and ESPN in Orlando, Florida. This time around, they got to go back to their respective arenas with fans, and in a year where COVID took so much from us, including the fans of sports teams in their respective arenas, stadiums, what have you. It's only fitting that the three championships that have been won this year, the Super Bowl with the Bucks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Lightning when they won the Stanley Cup, and the Bucks when they won the NBA championship. It was only fitting that all those championship wins were in front of home fans. I mean, only fitting after everything we've been through this last year and change. So, but anyways, cannot wait for it. And October 19th, it's when it all starts again. It's where it all begins again. So that's all there is to say there. So can't wait for it all to go down. So MF, Bullock says that the Christmas games are the more intriguing games. Do you concur with that?
I gotta kind of have to agree with it because normally the Christmas is become the staple for the NBA. This is one of their marquee days. More than anything else. And because like we said, with certain sports, it's become like what to expect. So like for instance, Thanksgiving has always been ruled by the NFL. Christmas rules by the NBA. The NBA has Christmas now. You can honestly say nowadays, New Year's Day, other than college football, has now been taken over by the NHL with the Winter Classic. So without a doubt, I agree with Michael Bullock that, the 5 games that they got this time around is unbelievable. And they're great matchups. I don't think there's one bad game when you talk about the 5 games that are coming up on Christmas Day. So no, I'm with Michael Bullock on this one. I think Christmas will be very marquee. Of course, the opening week of the NBA season will always be ecstatic. But then there's other matchups that we're going to want to keep a very close eye on. That's why I can't wait for tomorrow at 3 p.m. when the entire NBA schedule is dropped and we can really, we won't be able to do it, but at least we'll get to sink our teeth in it privately, and we can say whatever we want to say behind the scenes about the schedule and what good matchups are we going to get to see down the line. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
MF, keep your mic on because it's going to be time for you here momentarily. I'll wait until you have your notes ready because we're going to get into what has been a very popular staple of our show as of late. And I know you're all looking forward to this.
Ready.
All right, MF is ready, and I don't remember where we left off with this because we didn't have a show last week. So without any further ado, I turn the mic over to good old MF Michael Fletcher for his latest Big Three basketball recap. So MF, what's going on as of late in the Big Three?
It is getting crazy now. All right, so first off, we're gonna dive in all these games. Week 6 of the Big Three going down at the Credit Union 1 Arena in Chicago, Illinois. We started it off with Tri-State going up against the Ball Hogs. Tri-State won the game 50-47. Close matchup. To say the very least, this was one of those close battles down to the wire, but Tri-State got a big win that gave them a 4-2 record. Then we had was what undoubtedly ended up being the biggest upset of the season. The Killer Threes knocked off Triplets. They beat them 51-38. The Killer Threes gave the Triplets their first loss of the season. We do not have any more undefeateds. There will not be a team that goes undefeated to win it all this year. So we move right on along to another matchup, as it was Three-Headed Monsters versus the Enemies. Three-Headed Monsters won the game 50-43, which eliminates the Enemies from further competition. They will not be able to proceed on. They will not make it to the top 4. They are officially out of the running for the Dr. J, Julius Erving Big Three Championship Trophy. They are out for the year. Then, after that, we had Trilogy knocking off the Ghost Ballers, 51-34, I should say. Both teams now at 4-2, respectively. Then we had another major upset, as it was the Aliens knocking off Power 50-45. And then the final game of the day, Anthony, you're going to be very happy with this one. Three's Company knocking off Bivouac 50-44 to close out week 6 of the Big Three. Bivouac has been eliminated from contention as well. They're the only team that has not won a game this season. They are 0-6 in the Big Three. Then we move on to week 7 of the Big Three. So we started, and it was only 4 games on the docket on here, as they're back in Vegas. This is jockeying for position now. This is basically here. This is, you could kind of say week 7 and week 8 is basically quarterfinals. The top 4 gets to go to the Atlantis Resort and Casino in Nassau in the Bahamas, and that will go down a week from now. So here we go. We started off with Tri-State. They knocked off the Killer Threes. Tri-State at 5-2 now, holding the third position right now, as they basically beat the Killer Threes 51-37. Then we had the Three-Headed Monsters. They knocked off the Ball Hogs. They're now at 5-2. 51-44 the final score. Then in the third game of this week, it was Trilogy. They knocked off Power 50-47 in the game of the day. And in the fourth game, it was the triplets bouncing back from that loss the week before in Chicago, and they crushed the Ghost Ballers 51-19. It is the most lopsided beatdown of the season of the Big Three. I mean, it was, to quote Kaiser Wirsch, this was a holiday ham, folks. And this was cooked to perfection, as she would like to say. So shout out to Kaiser on that one. But yeah, so here we go, guys. This week, 4 more games, and this is it. This will determine the final 4 teams that could be playing in the Big Three. So we got is Triplet going up against Tri-State. We got Trilogy and the Killer Threes. The Three-Headed Monsters versus the Ghost Ballers. And Power versus the Ball Hogs. As the standings hold at this day, going into the final regular season game, there are 4 teams that needs the outcome. Triplets are at 6-1. Basically, they practically have gotten a clinch. They cannot fall. They could fall no worse than 4. They can fall no worse than 4. They are guaranteed a spot. They're going to the Atlantis. They will be playing in the semifinal no matter what. However, Trilogy, Tri-State, and Three-Headed Monsters must win their games this week in order to solidify their spots to Nassau and playing in the Bahamas, because only the top 4 automatically goes to the Bahamas to play for the Big Three championship. As of right now, I can now confirm Three's Company, Aliens, Enemies, and Bivouac has all been eliminated. They are out. They will not be able to play. However, Ball Hog and Power must win their games, and the Killer Threes or Ghost Ballers must lose. And they might have an outside. Well, actually, now to think about this, I don't think. Wait, hold. Ghost Ballers and Killer Threes must win, and they would need one of the 3. They must need one of the top 3. So actually, no, I stand corrected. Ball Hogs and Power are also been eliminated. They can't get there. They don't have enough. They won't make it. So now it's 4 spots. It's literally 3 spots, and 5 teams are battling for 3 spots. Trilogy, Tri-State, Three-Headed Monsters, Killer Threes, and Ghost Ballers are all in contention. They would need to win their respective games, and in the bottom tier, Killer Threes and Ghost Ballers must win, and they would need either Trilogy, Tri-State, or Three-Headed Monsters. They would need one of those 3 to fall this week in order to have a shot to get into the playoff. Triplets have guaranteed their spots. They are in. And Anthony, we're talking about some high drama going into the final week of the Big Three, because literally 3 teams, 3 spots are up there, but 5 teams are battling to try to get to the Bahamas.
Wow.
Triplets are guaranteed in. They are 6-1. They're the only team that has 1 loss to their record, and they are already guaranteed in. However, once you get after that, oh boy, it gets, like I said, we got a lot of drama going in. So that's it. There you go, Florio.
Wow.
That's a free update.
Yeah, wow. You talk about a supersized update. My goodness, that was a supersized update. And next week on the season finale of Strictly Sports Next Week, MF will let us know who, and we're going to start the show. MF will start the show with that Big Three recap before we get into the meat and potatoes of our show next week, the college football and NFL previews next week as part of our season finale of Strictly Sports. And it all leads to a champion, and it's going to be coming up in a few weeks. So
in 3 weeks from Saturday, we're going to crown the Big Three champion in Nassau, in the Bahamas.
September 11th. Yes, absolutely. So can't wait to hear all about that. So with that being said, let's move on. And MF, you and Michael Bullock, you two are going to be front and center here because we're going to get into what happened 1 short week ago. As you all know, if you've been living under a rock, good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock, along with some select members of MF's 2184 crew, went to Gillette Stadium to take in the preseason game between the New England Patriots and the Washington football team. And the Patriots won that game. So with all that being said, MF, I'm gonna have you. I'm gonna have you on mute for this because I want to start with Bullock here, since you had the Big Three stuff. So Michael Bullock, come on in. You and MF went up to Gillette 1 week ago to see your Patriots against the Washington football team in the preseason game. So how'd everything go? What were your experiences like? You and MF and MF's 2184 crew members, select members.
Well, I mean, it was just awesome. I mean, Mother Nature did play a little role in it when we had a little bit of rain and some thunderstorms. But other than that, I mean, it was just an awesome night. Of course, we got there, and of course, we did a little tailgating before the game. We had some hot dogs, some burgers, some chips, some soda, and some brewskis, and then we made our way to the stadium, and I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it's obviously not my first time at Gillette Stadium, but for me, MF and his 2184 crew to be part of the first set of fans to be back at Gillette Stadium for the first time in 2 years. I mean, yes, it is a preseason game, but just to be back there was an awesome experience. I mean, yeah, I mean, we watched it, and Cam Newton definitely looked a little shaky this time, but the crowd really roared when Mac Jones came in, and basically, I thought he looked pretty good, and even the running game, especially the final one with from Stevenson when he had that 91-yard touchdown run to pretty much ice the game for the Patriots to beat the Washington football team. And look at all around, see the 6 Super Bowl championship banners there, and yeah, I mean, just seeing a crowd back at Gillette. I mean, after having to watch Patriot games with no fans, but this was definitely an awesome experience, and it was a fun night. I mean, like I said, we had that rough stretch with the weather, but other than that, it was a fun night. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, I guess you could say, I mean, we definitely had a lot of fun, especially with your 2184 crew. So, I give it to you when it comes to your experience. Well, basically, it was a fun night nonetheless.
How many of you were there?
There was 8 of us, actually. I do want to give a shout out to all of them individually, to Dave Pop Anderson, to Kevin LaRoche, to Tiana Clark, who's a major wrestling fan. Me and Michael Bullock had an incredible conversation with her Special shout out to her, to Amanda Foster, to Stephen Lucas, to Dave Pop Anderson, to Todd Smith, and of course my buddy Kevin LaRoche, the Grand Poobah, who put this all together. Shout out to all you guys. You guys were amazing, as always. And yeah, this was a great game. It was, we all met up at Walmart to get up to Gillette. We were hoping to get there a little more sooner than we did. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of some traffic trouble down in Providence. A little accident that happened over there, so it was fine. Once we got onto the highway, everything was fine. Even getting into the parking lot for the tailgate was fine. So we got there, chilled there for about 2.5, close to 3 hours. Then made our way into Gillette. Had no problems getting in. We thought we were going to have a major issue, with the COVID protocols, everything else. Nah, they did. The only thing they asked for us was if we, the tickets on the cell phone, just have them scan it. Once we did, we went right through, like no problem. Went right through, right into the stadium. Once we got into the stadium, I mean, it was beautiful. So got up there. Yeah, there was a little bit some dark clouds. Me and Bullet kind of got a little nervous. We ducked down into a little bit of a bunker, just in case if they decide to postpone or at least delay the game because of the rain. But it rained a little bit on us, but not bad. And where we were spotted, we actually had a nice little overhang, so we had a little cover from the rain, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was a nice, cool, breezy night. Yeah, like we said, Cam Newton came out, really stalled the Patriots. A lot of people weren't really happy with Cam. Once Mac Jones came in, you could tell the team looked a lot different. They looked really good. Even if you're a Washington football team fan, Ryan Fitzpatrick was good. And then Caleb Haney, their backup, oh man, he had a great game, to say the very least. Washington kept it close, of course. There was a big touchdown that gave it 15-13. They went for the 2-point conversion. At first, it looked like he got it, but once you saw the replay, you're like, uh-oh, no, he doesn't get it. Ball was coming out, and unfortunately for my buddy Dave Pop Anderson, who's a fan of the Washington football team, he was not happy. Then he was really grumpy once the 91-yard touchdown. And you could say me and Michael Bullock I kind of had a partial screaming Michael Fletcher moment as I partially commentated the big touchdown, the 91-yarder. I told him, I said, if he can get the corner, he's gone. He got the corner. He kicked the Jets. And I knew once he passed the 50, I said he got one man to beat. Once he blew by him, bye-bye, he's gone. And that was it. So, I mean, Stevenson slams the door on a great game. As a matter of fact, that was the death nail to Sony Michel, because I do believe Sony Michel has been cut from the Patriots, from what I've been told. So Sony Michel got cut, and Stevenson might have just stole his spot. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But, yeah, great performance, great game, great time to be had by everybody involved. And we are hinting about doing a Providence Bruins hockey game, Anthony. We'd love for you to go. And yes, it's on a Saturday night. It's Saturday, October 19 is the game. October 15, I believe, is the game.
If it's the Saturday, it's the 16th.
Yeah, so Saturday the 16th, Providence Bruins, and that's the first game of their regular season. Hopefully, there's fans. We're hearing some not so good news lately about maybe there might be a shutdown again. I hope not. I hope that's just rumors.
I hope
and
so
that's
too.
just speculation. But yeah, so we're monitoring it. But if it does happen, I'll let you know. But we did talk about possibly doing another group night, and this time I'm trying to get you over there, man.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I will definitely consider it. No doubt about taking under consideration. Absolutely. So yeah. So sounds like you all had a blessed night to say the very least. And I mean, if I didn't have work commitments beyond my control, I would have been right there with you guys. Absolutely, I would have. But as Derek always likes to say, we all have lives outside of YouTube, podcasting, other things. So it's just part of life, folks. That's all there is to it. So, but anyways, one last order of business this evening: the Tokyo Olympics. They have come and gone, and Team USA dominating the medal count. They win it with a total of 113 medals, 39 gold, 41 silver, 33 bronze. China came in second with 88 total medals, 38 gold, 32 silver, 18 bronze. The ROC, they finished third with 71 total medals, 20 gold, 28 silver, 23 bronze. Great Britain came in fourth with 65 total medals, 22 gold, 21 silver, 22 bronze. The host country, Japan, they finished fifth, 58 total medals, 27 gold, 14 silver, 17 bronze. Australia in sixth, 46 total medals. They had 17 gold, 7 silver, 22 bronze. Italy, my native, my heritage country there. They finished with 40 total medals, 10 gold, 10 silver, 20 bronze. Germany came in eighth with 37 total medals, 10 gold, 11 silver, 16 bronze. The Netherlands finishes ninth, 36 total medals, 10 gold, 12 silver, 14 bronze. And rounding out the top 10 was France. 33 total medals, 10 gold, 12 silver, and 11 bronze. And for notable heritage countries, a country that, I hold near and dear to my heart, mainly because of my love of the Hart family in the professional wrestling world, Canada. They finished 11th in the medal standings. They finished with 24 total medals. They had 7 gold, 6 silver, and 11 bronze. And MF, Colombia, they only won 5 total medals. Unfortunately, they did not win any gold. They won 4 silver medals and 1 bronze medal for a total of 5 for Colombia. Derek Ferreira, Portugal, 4 total medals. They had 1 gold, 1 silver, 2 bronze. And those are the standings there. Every country won at least a medal. But several countries only won 1 medal. And most notably, the Puerto Rico only won 1 medal. They won 1 gold medal. Saudi Arabia, a silver medal, and just some of the notables there. So, but anyways, the notable moments, obviously, you have to start with Simone Biles. Stepping away from gymnastics competitions, spoke openly and emotionally about the need to protect the athlete's mental health, rather. And she arrived as a decorated competitor, but she left having shown a light on athletes' well-being and the pressures of elite sports, and was not the only one to redefine her legacy over the course of the games. Her fellow American, Allison Felix, became the most decorated U.S. track and field athlete in history, winning the 4x400 meter relay gold. The 2 medals she won in Tokyo also represent her role as an athlete mother. Her career that spans 5 games, just amazing, just magnificent. And while Biles and Felix may have competed in their final games, also this Olympic game also highlighted athletes at the start of their careers. Take the world of skateboarding. The podiums in the women's street and park events had combined ages of 42 and 44 years old, average of 14 across the 2 medal events. Skateboarding wasn't the only sport added to the Olympic program in a bid to attract younger viewers. Sport climbing also sought to draw new fans for the games with a head-to-head speed discipline and an unpredictable down-to-the-wire scoring format. Expect more of the same in the 2024 Olympics in Paris, where breakdancing has been added to the event lineup. Records are broken at every games, but perhaps not in the same stunning fashion as they were in Tokyo's Olympic Stadium. Karsten Warholm and Ray Benjamin ran faster than Warholm's previous record in the 400-meter hurdles. Sydney McLaughlin also smashed the world record in the 400-meter hurdles and the women's 400-meter hurdles. Records also set by Elaine Thompson-Herah in the 100 meters and Jacob Ingebrigtsen in the 1,500 meters. New landmarks, not just on the running track. Yulimar Rojas with the women's triple jump world record with a leap of 16.57 meters, 17 centimeters further than the previous mark that had stood for 26 years. Shot put silver medalist Raven Saunders, another social justice thing, obviously. It was plagued obviously by COVID, no fans and the whole 9 yards. But the men's basketball team winning the gold, obviously, big moment for them. And I'll be honest, I didn't really pay much attention to it, but it is something I felt needed to be addressed. And MF is more into it than I am, and I know he was all over mainly the track and field and the hoops, and he definitely had some moments there, especially the Allison Felix moment. I know MF had a big moment down there for that and the whole 9 yards. But the thrill, the spectacle of the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony, whether there were fans or not, it was just so breathtaking. It was so nice to have the Olympics back. We were supposed to have them last year, but you obviously know the reasoning behind it. So. But hopefully all will be right when we get to 2024 in Paris. Hopefully we'll have fans back and the whole 9 yards. I'm almost certain we will. I pray this doesn't last forever. But
well, not only that, but you can get your Olympic fix in about 7 months because the Winter Olympics actually start in February of 2022. So, yes, and normally this is the event that me and Anthony kind of covers a little more deeper because of the men's hockey tournament. Yeah. And especially if we do get the NHL players back. That's the key. If the NHL and the IOC can work something out and we actually do get the NHL players into the Olympic Games, then you're going to see us go full bull into the men's hockey tournament because
Indeed.
That's our event. We don't care about anything else in the Olympics except for the men's hockey.
That's exactly right. So we'll be ready for that. And yep, and I'm sure we should be done with football by that time. So
yeah, it'll be actually right around a couple of days after the Super Bowl. It's gonna be pretty close, or maybe the week of.
Actually, no. They're actually going to be starting on Friday, February the 4th, and it will go up until Sunday, February the 20th. That's what I have here, and they're going to be in Beijing, China. So, but I think maybe after the Super Bowl we might get into that. And,
yeah,
because we got to go all in on the Super Bowl and not do anything else. So
yeah,
but that's in February. But anyways, it was another great Summer Olympics. So not much more to say. The voice of the Olympics for so many times, going all the way back to the Barcelona games in '92. MF. I mean, I know it was especially emotional for you because I know how much the Summer Olympics in particular mean to you.
Yeah, like you said, it started in '92 for me. That was my first ever Olympic Games, watching it on NBC. I've been honored enough to watch all of them, from '96 in Atlanta to 2000 in Sydney to 2004 in Athens to 2008 in Beijing, 2012 in London, 2016 Rio de Janeiro, and now 2021 in Tokyo, Japan, which they do dwell it as 2020, but it is 2021. And now the eyes of the world is converting on Paris, France. in 3 years from now. It's without a doubt. It's become this one was, for what it was worth, it was the most interesting Olympic Games we've ever had. But the thing is that they were able to get it done. They got the job done, and they were able to do it and did it with the class and the dignity and the honor of the games, the spirit of the games that we always talk about. And I'm very happy, very proud of of everybody who put the effort in on this. The athletes were amazing. We saw a lot of great stories and a lot of great moments. And I gotta say, without a doubt, this was one of the best. This was one of the better games that I've been to. I can only wish that we had fans. I think that was the biggest thing. Without the fans, it kind of lost a little bit of the magic, the luster. But still, we had a lot of magical moments in the games. I think for me, doing these games was absolutely a thrill and an honor, and it gets better and better when I do it. I am blessed and honored every year, because it's once in a generation. Um, all these athletes that has worked their entire lives to get to this moment and to spend the Olympic dream. And I think that's what it is. It's the Olympic dream. Um, and I can't say anything bad about it. I know there was a lot of things about, the COVID and should they do the games, with everything that was going on. There was a lot of hesitation. A lot of people were not really happy with them doing it, but they did it. And for the most part, it was a rousing success. Congratulations, Tokyo. You did an incredible job under the circumstances. You should be commended. I bow to you, and I appreciate everything that you have done. Namaste. Thank you. And I wish you guys the very best. Paris, you got some strong shoes to fill, but more importantly, Beijing, you guys are on the clock now. Try to top it. I mean, you did great in the summer games in 2008. What are you going to bring for Tokyo? What are you going to bring in the Winter Olympics in less than 6 months from now in 2022? I mean, that's going to be interesting to watch. And on top of that, a lot of the arenas and the venues that they use for the summer games, they're using for the winter games. So I'm excited to be back at the Super Arena. That's where we're doing the men's hockey. So I can't wait to do it. Hopefully the NHL is there, and me and Anthony will get to do it. So, Faloyo, it's yours.
I do have one quick thing about that before we wrap up, MF, and I just found this now. NHL players are expected to find out later this month at quote unquote the end of the month whether they will be able to participate in the 2022 Winter Olympics. So, but all parties, according to Match TV, all parties involved in discussions had agreed to allow NHL players to compete at the games. But IIHF President Renee Fossel said that they had yet to make a decision. So nothing has been decided at the moment. Nothing will be clear until the end of the month. They are discussing. Negotiations are underway. There are difficult moments. Part of the CBA between the NHL and the NHLPA. Players may compete at the games if they wanted to. 2022 and the Milan Cortina games in 2026, subject to negotiation of terms acceptable to each of the NHL, NHLPA, and IIHF. And the IOC and the IIHF must be in agreement with the NHL and the NHLPA before players can go to the Olympics. We did not have NHL players in the 2018 Pyeongchang games,
and those games suffered. And I have to say it suffered so bad. I mean, gosh. It really, like, it's
suffered so bad we didn't even do it. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's so much of a difference between when the NHL is there and when they're not there. There is a level of competition and a level of games that you could tell there's a major difference between the two. And the crazy thing is, the first time they ever did it with the NHL was 1998 in Nagano, Japan.
Yes, sir.
Nagano was the first time they ever did it with NHL. And I actually just the other day went back to relive that final, Czech Republic versus Russia.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What a game.
Probably the second greatest one behind the legendary USA and Canada in 2010.
Agreed. No doubts.
And of course, the three little words that put that game over the top. You said them: net, bounce, scramble.
Oh yeah.
Never will ever forget those words. I have not forgotten those words ever since that day. They have been in my head all these last 11 plus years. So, and I'm hopeful that we'll get another moment like that in 2022. And
we'll see.
Yep, it'll just depend. New NHL season will start in mid-October. The Olympic break will be from February 5th to the 22nd. And the final is set for the final day of the Olympics on Sunday, February 20th. So that's when the final will go down. So,
and we'll be there. Hopefully, we'll be there.
Only if the NHL players are there.
Yep.
That's the only way we'll do it.
That's the only way we'll do it. Yeah.
If it's like 2018, nah, honey, we're out.
Yep.
We don't want anything to do with that. So no duds for us. We want the big names. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So that will put the bow on this very long edition of Strictly Sports. But thank you all so very much for tuning in. And tomorrow night we got a very loaded edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher over on Braves Fan 95. We will review the Go Home show, the final stop on the road to SummerSlam, the Go Home edition of Friday Night SmackDown from the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona, the home of the Western Conference champion Phoenix Suns. We'll get into that. We will also address AEW Rampage, The First Dance from the United Center in Chicago. And then from there, we will also preview both NXT TakeOver 36 and the 34th annual biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. So with all that, and then of course Saturday night following SummerSlam, we will have our SummerSlam recap, and then Sunday night following TakeOver, we'll have a TakeOver recap. Monday, Ridiculously Raw, and then all the Raw fallout from SummerSlam and Impact Wrestling 205 Live business and my Tony's Take, and then Wednesday Mayhem with NXT and AEW Dynamite, and then the season finale of Strictly Sports 1 week from tonight. MF will do a brief Big Three recap, and then we'll get into the bread and butter of it, the meat and potatoes, if you will, our preview of both the college football and NFL seasons. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, this is Anthony Floyer here signing off on behalf of good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Didi Woodson, and Derek Ferreira, always and forever the Yankee Messiah 401. And before we leave you, we're gonna, remember one last time before we call it a night, and that is how we started this show tonight, paying our respects to the late great Bobby Bowden, who passed away back on August 8th at the age of 91. Pancreatic cancer claimed his life, and as I always like to say, Coach, thank you for the memories, thank you for the inspiration, and thank you for Bobby Bowden. I'll never forget you, sir. Never forget you. For everybody who has been a part of this one, bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday, and until tomorrow night for the supersized edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. You've been watching Strictly Sports right here on Atone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. Goodbye, my friends.